So with the next installment of the Predator franchise just around the corner, we thought it would be the perfect time to take a look at the life of the man, the myth, the legend, that is Dutch Schaefer. So grab yourself a drink and stick around as I take you for a mere pencil pusher to a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus. Portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Major Alan Dutch Schaefer, or just Dutch, is the main protagonist of the 1987 sci-fi action film Predator, and is only one of two surviving members of the events that unfolded in the Guatemalan jungle on that day. Dutch was born in 1948 in the USA, has a large muscular physique and stands at about 6 foot 1 inch in height. Little information is known about the character's childhood, apart from the fact that he has a brother named John and that he was a highly talented American football star in his school days. In 1967, Dutch would attend boot camp for the United States Army alongside friend Jim Hopper.
Jim Hopper. Mac, cut him down.
After completing boot camp and joining the United States Army, Dutch would rise through the ranks and attain the title of Major. He would serve his country in Vietnam alongside close friend Dylan. During the Vietnam War, Dutch was captured and tortured by the Viet Cong. The extent and brutality of his torture led to Dutch being extremely resistant to pain, barely being able to feel any pain at all. After the Vietnam War, Dutch would join various commando units and even team up again with Hopper in Malaysia, and also reunite with Dylan for an operation in Thailand.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
In 1989, Dutch would leave the United States Army and form his own private military company. This elite squad would consist of some of the best and highly skilled personnel that the US Army had to offer. Dutch's team was hired for many operations over the years, with their most impressive mission consisting of Dutch and his men wiping out a terrorist group in under 10 seconds.
Stick around.
A notable condition of employment for Dutch and his men was that they only ever operate as a rescue team, and he refused to take on any mission where the prime objective was the elimination of enemy personnel, only ever killing when absolutely necessary. Dutch's strict morals and rules were not too dissimilar to a certain creature he was about to come face to face with. So that's the past of the man they called Dutch and all the events that unfolded leading up to his team's encounter with a Yautja. The movie's non-stop action-packed pace leaves little room for character development, but we still learn a lot about the character in the original Predator movie, which shows us things such as Dutch being a fearless and respected leader whose team look to when the chips are down, and even through his years of war have made him tough, he still cares and does what's best for his squad. We also learn that Dutch's weapons of choice are the M16 with a touch grenade launcher, a Desert Eagle, grenades, and of course a large combat machete. Dutch is also immensely strong. Not strong enough to stand toe-to-toe with a Predator, of course, but various scenes in the movie have Dutch showcasing strength far above your average man. While Dutch is a powerhouse of muscle, he also has the brains to match the brawn. Years of military service and operations have made Dutch an extremely tactical, intelligent and resourceful soldier who is just as deadly armed as he is unarmed. This is witnessed by his ability to use traps, craft weapons, take advantage of enemies' weaknesses, and his use of guerrilla-style tactics to defeat the monster hunting him. All these traits were used to their fullest in order to defeat the jungle hunter. After Dutch defeated the Predator and got to the chopper, many would assume this was the end of Dutch's story, as it was the last time we would see Dutch on screen. But thanks to other media like the Predator comics and video games, we actually learn what happened to Dutch after his ordeal in the jungle. After being extracted by a helicopter, Dutch's health began to deteriorate and he started showing signs of radioactive sickness, likely caused by the exposure of the jungle hunter's self-destruct device. While recovering in hospital, Dutch would be interviewed by a otherworldly lifeforms agent named Peter Keyes about what he encountered in the jungle. Later, Dutch would escape from the hospital and disappear. It was around this time when Dutch's older brother would begin to search for his missing brother, and this would lead him to encountering a predator, but that's a story for another episode. Dutch would go on to make records of encounters in the form of tapes, and these tapes can be found in the video game Predator Hunting Grounds. The tapes go on to tell us that after Dutch escaped the hospital, still badly sick from his exposure to the radiation from the Predator's self-destruct device, and also after going into hiding, Dutch soon became obsessed with learning more about the creature that had massacred his team. Eventually, after using his military connections, he went back to South America to the site of his encounter with a Yautja. Dutch would then spend many years in the country, assuming the identity of an author researching the sightings and the native stories of a demon who makes trophies of men. After hearing countless stories, both fabricated and true, Dutch would learn that his encounter with the Yautja species was just one of many, and that the creature's hunt of man had been going on for a very long time. Around 1996, Dutch set up yet another private military company dedicated to performing search and rescue operations. However, the true objective of the unit was to use his newly found team of soldiers as bait to lure out the predator once again. Eventually, Dutch's plan worked, as while on a mission in the Congo, Dutch and his team found multiple casualties with their skin removed. The predator eventually returned to the area, and Dutch, who had been waiting and watching, immediately engaged the alien with his team following suit. Unfortunately, a stray bullet then caught a crate of RPG ammunition, which exploded and caused a chain reaction. Dutch survived the resulting explosion, but his team and the beast were all killed. Seizing the opportunity, he salvaged what tech he could find and fled the area. Dutch's relentless obsession with the predator species would see him travel then to Los Angeles in 1997, but he was too late, as not only had Predator 2's protagonist Mike Harrigan already killed a city hunter, but also his longtime ally Peter Keyes had lost his life to the Predator. While investigating this, Dutch was captured by the OWLF and soon made a deal with them to hunt predators together, but in his own words, he would only work with them and not for them. Dutch's time with the OWLF would be extremely fruitful, and the combination of Dutch and OWLF finances, technology and weaponry would see the partnership become highly successful in hunting and killing any Yautja that arrived on Earth. But in 2008, while tracking a female Yautja, Dutch would see him lose track of his prey and was then caught in the creature's snare gun with a net tightening and slicing into his skin. At this point, Dutch was ready to accept his fate, but for whatever reason the hunter decided to spare Dutch, leaving Dutch with a permanent grid-like scar across his face. Many speculate that Dutch's legendary status amongst the Yautja species may have been the reason why the creature showed this act of mercy. By 2018, Dutch's time with the OWLF had come to an end, and they replaced Dutch with Project Stargazer, which is the organization we see in Shane Black's 2018 The Predator. And even though the organization included Sean Keyes, who was the son of Dutch's longtime ally Peter Keyes, Dutch found Project Stargazer inept and corrupt and lacking in any real knowledge of the Yautja. This would lead Dutch into disappearing once again until 2025. After Project Stargazer's downfall, the OWLF was reinstated and Dutch found himself working for the organization again. Even though Dutch was now 78 years of age, he was still an asset in the hunt of the Yautjas. On one mission, however, Dutch was mortally wounded, and in desperation to continue hunting and researching the predator race, understanding that Yautja encounters had been vastly increasing over the years, Dutch decided to accept an experimental treatment from Sean Keyes, which would see his DNA fused with that of a Yautja race. The experiment was an absolute success, and Dutch was now stronger and more capable than ever. This newly found strength and prowess, combined with all the advanced tech and weaponry collected from all his and OWLF successful missions, meant Dutch could stand toe-to-toe finally with the Yautjas once again.
One ugly motherfucker.
This would be the end of Dutch's story for now. His new aged and battle-worn appearance can be seen in game. Dutch now sports a grey beard and his scar from his fight with the female Yautja clearly visible on his face. Dutch's weaponry has also been upgraded, not only favouring the QR-5 assault rifle with a grenade launcher, but also wielding custom-made knives that were cast from the wrist blades of a fallen Yautja, and a wrist gauntlet most likely constructed by the OWLF using Predator tech. And just like the creatures, he also dedicated his life to the hunt by sporting a trophy of a fallen Yautja on his uniform in the form of a Predator biomask. In certain circles, it seems Dutch's story became legendary, Even the Yautja race became aware of Dutch's activities through records automatically returned to Yautja Prime aboard the deceased Jungle Hunter's ship. The information led some predators to revere Dutch and his achievements, most notably the city hunter, who regarded Dutch, and by extension the human race in general, with great respect. 10 years later, Keyes would make mention of Dutch's encounter with a predator whilst he and his OWLF task force attempted to capture another Yautja in the city of Los Angeles. Likewise, Isabel from the movie Predators tells Adrian Brody's character about Dutch and his team, including the mission to Guatemala and details of the creature that stalked and killed his team of commandos. And that's our first video on the Predator universe. I actually did forget to mention that the character also did appear in the Alien vs Predator arcade game as a human cyborg that has a cybernetic arm with a smart gun mounted on it. But as it's not actually part of Dutch's canon, I thought to exclude it till the end. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you would like us to continue this series, then why not smash that like button? Make sure you're subscribed and drop us a comment below. And as always, don't forget to make sure to stay tipsy. Bye bye guys.